When is the time that we should express our emotions versus regulate our emotions? How do we know which one to do in each scenario?
It's important to feel like you can regulate, all right? So if you're going to get yourself to a place that you can't get yourself back down from, that's a problem, all right? Like that, it's just not going to be constructive for you. And so knowing how to regulate pretty much determines the extent to which you should kind of wallow or not wallow. But in general, the interesting thing about emotions, I mean, they're called feelings because we feel them. And if you just sit with the feeling, like whatever feeling you're feeling right now, if you just sit with it, this is part of self-validation. You first kind of notice the emotion, you label it, and then you just try and feel it as intensely as you can without feeding it the narrative. Like if you do that, if you just say, okay, I'm sad, I'm going to feel this as intensely as I can. Sadness, sadness, no story about why, just sadness, sadness, feel it. Really, really squeeze out that sponge. It will decrease. That is how emotions operate. They go up, it goes down. I know you're saying it's not going to decrease, Caroline, it's not going to decrease.
But it will.
But if you divorce yourself from the narrative and you just feel it, it can.
And if you suppress the emotion, then what happens?
It just gets bigger. It just gets hungrier. It's like a child trying to get your attention, isn't it? Right?
Screams louder and louder. Right? If you stuff and stuff and stuff and try to contain it, it's going to react in some way, right? Whether it be energetically in your body, your nervous system, eczema, or some other condition later, right?
Seriously, yeah.
It's going to come out in some ways.
That's right. That's right.
Or you're just going to have headaches, or it's just going to be like, I can't sleep and I'm ruminating. It's going to be expressing itself internally until you express it externally.
That's right. I think what you'll find, if you struggle with being alone, I think that's a real tell for the degree to which you are facing and at peace with your emotions. Because when there's no one else around and your phone is dead and you're the only person you're with, if that is painful and uncomfortable and you can kind of feel things trying to like crawl out, that suggests that you're not quite at peace with yourself.
Man, so how do we get at peace with ourselves?
Practice a lot of self-validation.
Interesting.
I go through these steps almost every single night in bed. I go through these steps of like...
What's this process look like? If we don't feel like anyone else in the world is validating us, how many steps are there to self-validate?
I had a breast cancer about a year ago, and I had to go through all of the nastiness, the chemo, the radiation, the mastectomy, the surgeries, all this.
Wow.
And it profoundly affected my daughter. And she felt like after I lost my hair, I was a different person. She's 11, but she has felt this really acutely. And I've had to really work on rebuilding that relationship.
Wow.
And so we're here in LA, doing all this great stuff. And I had an article that I needed to get out by 9 a.m. this morning. And so she's wanting to watch Friends in the hot tub. Like, come on, what's better than that, right? Like, we're staying in this fun place. And I just didn't have time. Like, I was able to, we did a little bit of time in the hot tub, but she's like, can we watch it in your bed? And I'm like, I got to write this, and I'm texting my husband, can you like read to her tonight? And so I got in bed and I just felt so bad about myself. Like so I had to sit there and be like, all right, what am I feeling? All right, this is shame. Okay. Now that the first step is just to acknowledge it, give it an adjective.
Yeah. Like
and then,
mom guilt or shame.
Yeah, sure. Guilt, shame, devastation, disappointment. And then I repeat whatever that emotion, I copy it. I keep repeating it. This is shame. This is shame. And as I'm repeating it, I'm trying to feel it in my body. Where is it? Is it in my chest? Is it behind my eyes? Try and feel it as intensely as you can without reliving the evening or replaying it in my head or all the reasons why I'm a failure as a mom or I've screwed up my kid. I'm never going to be able to repair this relationship. Here I am now prioritizing my career. All these things that want to like fight their way in to feed and stoke that shame. I'm just putting them over here. And my mantra is, this is shame. This is shame. Feel it. This is shame. Feel it. And it goes up and it does come down. And once it comes down, I need to look for the kernel of truth in that shame. Where is it coming from? Why am I feeling this way? Well, of course I'm feeling shame. I'm not being the type of parent I want to be. Like, that makes sense. There's a lot of societal expectations around being a mother and a working mother, what that's supposed to look like. And I don't feel like I'm measuring up. That shame makes sense. Okay. I get where that's coming from. If I were to look at this from the outside and see a friend in this position, I wouldn't think they were a bad person.
Yeah.
I would have empathy for them. Okay. So I do this kind of understanding, kind of looking for the validity in the emotion if it's there. At the same time, maybe challenging it if it's not serving me. And then the most important things I do are kind of the last two steps. And the first is to take action in some way to self-soothe. Okay, so I'm usually lying in bed when I do this, so I'll do like soft touch. So rubbing your shoulder, hand on the tummy, whatever it may be. And then you got to pay that forward. You got to do something with that negative energy. So if it's during the day, I would go and I've done all sorts of wild things to, like, everything from working out to fostering kittens, right? Trying to just do something I wouldn't have done that day were it not for this suffering.
Interesting.
And last night it was just a loving kindness meditation. So I thought about all the mothers out there who had cancer and who were also struggling, and just imagined, let me take that on. And let me just imagine them being more at peace.
Wow.
And that's it. But so it sounds really,
process. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds kind of exhaustive, but it's so soothing.
Well, I mean, it's not exhaustive. I think it's necessary, and it should be as long or exhaustion as it takes until you get back to peace.
Yeah.
So there's no better place to be than at peace. And
Yeah.
if you're in stress, then it should take as long as it needs to of your time and attention to get back to regulating your emotion through expressing your emotion.
It's such a good point, right? Like, there doesn't have to be this stopwatch.
It doesn't mean, I should be in 2 minutes. I should be back to perfect. No,
Right.
It's like, it might take hours. It might take days sometimes.
Yeah.
A case like you've been through, it might take a year or longer to process a complete transformation of who you've become.
That's so validating.
And your daughter thinking that you're a different person, whether it be physically or emotionally or just energy wise.
Yeah.
And you having to grieve the person you once were and the relationship you once had with your daughter, and create a new person inside of you and a new relationship with your daughter. Right?
It was so validating. That was really good proposing.
That's good. That's good.
Though, I felt that. I mean,
I feel it with you opening up, because I'm I can't even imagine what that would feel like, having a daughter where you have a certain relationship, and then all of a sudden she says, "Mommy, you're different. What happened? Why are you different? What's wrong? Something wrong, or you seemed off or something."
Nobody else sees it. Why doesn't anyone else see it?
Yeah.
You're not the same person. You're a different person.
But you're not the same person.
I know.
You had to let go of an old way of being physically.
Yep.
And transform into a new human.
Yeah, but what's so fascinating, despite having written this book and knowing all this stuff, there have been times when my inclination has been to say, no, honey, I am the same person. Okay, I love you just as much as I did before. And that is invalidation.
You probably love her more.
I love her more, right? But me saying, no, nothing has changed. I'm dismissing her emotions. I'm saying they're wrong.
Yeah.
And I have done that. And then I have followed up the next day to say, last night when you said this to me, my knee-jerk response was, I haven't changed. And that is not fair to you. And I said that you must feel like you're grieving a parent that's still alive. That is some heavy stuff.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And and I don't know how you're dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can screw it up in the moment, as I have, and every single parent will.
Yeah.
But you also have those opportunities to circle back.
Repair. Yeah, repair and reconnection and bringing you even stronger together the next day or the next month or whenever you decide to repair or reconnect. And revalidate, right?
That's right, because that's what I want her to do as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
I want her to circle back with people when she realizes, ooh, that was invalidating, or that was unkind. the only way kids can figure that stuff out really is through modeling, by seeing it.
That's it. That's it.